She got a kick out of your message last night. But,
I show her all my messages.
Hoping that
now she's showing me.
Yeah.
Now you're
great. Oh, I'm in trouble for that one.
I'm beginning to wonder about you, Chris.
But we're going to be out at New River Harley Davidson with Reach Across America for
nice.
That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Okay.
For their celebration out there. We're getting out there at 7:30, but I think it starts at 10.
Early.
Yeah.
It's really early in the morning.
Well, we want to set up our booth, and hopefully
Okay.
some people will show up. The United Way is going to be out there, and Rolling
good,
Thunder.
Good. Okay, now that's New River. Everybody who's around here knows where it is.
Yes.
But New River Harley is not on the New River.
No.
It's a Harley shop, and it's on the US 17 South. You go about 2 miles south of the air station entrance, somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're going south, look on your right. You won't miss it.
Isn't it right at Dawson Cabin?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's before you get Dawson Cabin.
No, not Dawson. You're right. It's
Where you
at
going to Onslow Pines Road?
Onslow
Pines,
Pines.
that's it.
Yeah,
Onslow
that's
Pines
right. Dawson Cabin is way
And it's expecting a good turnout. A lot of food vendors are going to be out there. It's going to be a great event.
Mhm.
And Rolling Thunder just does such a wonderful job.
They are the best.
I got a guy involved in that we came to know I came to know many years ago around here.
Paul?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Paul Levesque.
Paul Levesque.
He is the best.
Yeah.
I really have a lot of respect for him and his wife, and
Mhm.
for all they do.
Yeah, they do.
They do a lot.
They're good. They do a lot of work, a lot of good things for the community, and you know we're blessed in this community to have people like that, people you can count on.
Hey, Chris, going back to the cemeteries and the flowers, was this something that was proposed in the legislature, or something? Because I just went on the North Carolina State Veteran Cemetery site, and I can see where there's some confusion out, but it doesn't show that they are forbidden yet. So it's just something that's been introduced and not voted on yet.
Well, it's something that we were told as family survivors of Dad. That you have certain times of the year they can only be artificial.
Yes.
Certain times they can be real. Certain time, not like a holiday.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
For a holiday,
it says
they can be
artificial flowers and potted plants will be permitted on graves and at the end of the columbarium, big word, during the periods of November 1st through April 1st, and 4 days before and 4 days after Valentine's, Easter Sunday, Mother's Day, Memorial Day, Father's Day, and July 4th. So you can do it 4 days before and up to 4 days after, put the artificial and potted plants. But any other time, it has to be fresh flowers, except through the periods of November 1st and April 1st, it can be artificial.
Right. So some of the changes from the bill I read is the 30-minute rule.
Oh yeah,
for funerals. That's up for change.
Good.
The hours of operation.
Good.
Are looking to be changed.
Closing of the gates.
Yeah.
During a funeral.
Yes, that's up to change if it passes, and I think they're voting on it in October.
October of this year.
This year, yes.
I'm gonna have to check into that. That's interesting information.
So, and I don't know that they're addressing the bench issue. They really should. There are benches out there. The benches will last a long time.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to be up. They're probably going to make a blanket policy, but it's going to be up to each individual cemetery because, eventually you would run out of room, I would think, for benches. But then again, those are expensive.
If there's no room, then you.
Right.
Well, you can't. Right.
I mean, that's just common sense there.
But I think the biggest ones were the 30-minute rule.
Right.
For a funeral.
I understand that.
And then the closure during a funeral ceremony. Because you don't know when you go to the visit your relative, there's someone at the gate that says we have a funeral that's going to take place in 30 minutes. You got 15 to get in and get out.
Well, I went 3 times in over a period of 48 hours to get in to put flowers on my dad's grave because it was his birthday. Of those 3 times, each time I got there, they had closed the cemetery, closed the gates, and they had workers out there saying you can't come in because we have a funeral starting in 15, 20 minutes. And I just want to put flowers on my dad's grave. And I'm like, and I would say most people, the majority up to probably everyone, are going to be very respectful going into a cemetery when there's a funeral in progress. But they wouldn't let me. And the 3rd time, I was just like, okay, I understand. And the guy actually told me, well, I would advise you next time just to call ahead to see if there's anything going on. I shouldn't have to call ahead to see if I can come in during normal opening hours to put flowers on a grave. That's my opinion, but it was frustrating, very frustrating.
I was told the same thing.
And there was many of a time that I've attended services, and 30 minutes from the time you enter to 30 minutes later, it's like, all right, everybody get out.
Yeah.
Your 30 minutes is up. If there's not another service right after that service, let the people kind of, hang out a little bit if they want to and talk to each other instead of chasing them out the cemetery. I just don't get it.
You can see where things could get out of hand.
Yes,
if there
I can
happen to
see.
be
Yes,
multiple funerals going on at the same time, services, which in other locations they generally schedule those, and they arrange. You don't have 2 of them happening close together at the same time.
Exactly.
In a normal Onslow Park, for instance. Other cemeteries, other funerals that I've been to, and I've been to unfortunately a lot. There may be 2 services going on, but they may be on one end of the ballpark and the other one's on the other end of the ball field. You know how that works. Some distance away, and they don't interfere with each other.
Right.
So, what is the big deal?
Well,
Because that immediately after a burial is a time when a lot of people will get together with folks that have come a long ways, perhaps, and folks they don't generally see. They only, so sometimes we half joke about it in my family. When I go down to South Carolina, well, wonder who's the next person going to die so we can get to see each other again. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as you get older,
And unfortunately, that's what happens.
Right.
So,
well, I know I'm not saying it's our cemetery. The state veterans cemetery is the one that puts all this together.
Sure. Yep.
And in the book, it says 30 minutes. And you have some cemeteries that they're sitting there and it's been 30 minutes and 1 second. Okay, everybody get out, and you have others that, they're kind of lax. They don't have anything going for the next hour or so. And so the people stand around and talk a little bit, not at the gravesite, but, up by the building, whatever. So let them talk.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. But that's just my
well,
opinion.
I think that's why I think people have complained about it, and that's why it's being taken up in Raleigh.
Yeah, because I know a couple of years ago there was a lot being said and done, and I'm not talking like here. I'm talking about various different cemeteries, so that were under the control of the veterans, so the state cemetery. So I know I had to go to them one year about something. Yeah.
We in the civilian world, we get to know a lot of information about a criminal act that occurs, right?
Right.
The stuff that can be released. They're not going to release the names of juveniles under most circumstances. It's prohibited by statutes in a lot of cases. But there are, and in most cases, we get to know. But if it happens aboard a military reservation, I'm going to give you a case in point. January 2024, a Marine was arrested after we now know that he shot and killed a woman whose name the military still refuses to release. Even in the charging document, she's only referred to as the initials SS.
Why?
What's
It's
SS?
the Marine Corps.
Why?
It's the military. It's any branch of service. They withhold a lot of information. I knew that when I worked here in the media years and years ago.
Yeah.
You try to get information from whatever you hear has occurred aboard Camp Lejeune. It was like pulling your own teeth with
Wow.
pliers. It was tough. Well, the Marine who has been identified, he has been sentenced to 8 years confinement and given a dishonorable discharge, total forfeiture of pay, reduction in rank to private. He was a sergeant. He was convicted of involuntary manslaughter after he shot a civilian aboard Lejeune in January of 2024. This is all according to military.com. Dakota Honstein, or Steen, don't know, pleaded not guilty and was acquitted of the most severe charge, and that was murder. That's in Article 118 in the Military Justice. But was sentenced earlier this month for involuntary manslaughter in violation of a lawful general order for wrongfully possessing a gun on base, which he used to kill the civilian last year. Military officials did not identify the victim. Specific details about the case, including the relationship between Honstein and the victim, details about the event that led to her death, we have no clue.
Wow. Wow.
A spokesperson for 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force, a first lieutenant, he said, "We are unable to confirm the nature of the relationship between Honstein and the civilian. However, we know they communicated electronically for a period of a few weeks after meeting online." We can try to read between the lines, don't have a clue. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service apprehended the Marine aboard Lejeune the same day of the shooting. At the time, officials did not name him, but said that a Marine shot and killed a civilian in an isolated incident at the base, that they had recovered a gun following the shooting, and that NCIS was investigating. He will serve 7 years in confinement for the involuntary manslaughter charge, which was described as culpable negligence in the charging sheet, and 1 year in confinement for violating the weapon order.
Oh, wow.
They did not, the Marine official who spoke did not say where Honstein would be confined. The lead counsel for the trial said the defense does not have any comment. The defendant, the Marine's attorneys, would not comment.
Like a gag order to me.
It's military gag orders. Honstein joined the active duty service back in 2018. You know,
I want to know the
he's
story.
promoted to sergeant in 2022. Occasionally appeared on Second Meth media releases in the years leading up to the shooting. He was originally assigned to the 2nd Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company in Second Meth. I don't know how much we have to have or should know about anything, but
I'm curious.
what
now.
happens, what is concerning, should be concerning to all of us. If they're not saying anything about this, what else are they not saying? I will go back to the 1970s.
Oh, I know where you're going, I think.
Because about 5 years ago, retired SBI agent, State Bureau, who was actively assisting SBI when they called him about cold cases in the area. They would assign cold case, and he would accept cold case assignments as a retiree. And he called me because they found a body aboard Camp Lejeune in the 70s, and they had never made an arrest, but killed a woman. It happened during a particular time when there was a crazy guy around here running around killing people. He killed 4 women off base that we know of, and possibly one while he was deployed in a foreign country, maybe more. And it was a logical conclusion between this agent and me. He did that one. He's down dead, and I didn't do it. Should have, but he's logically the most logical. I mean, they waited since 1974 until 4 years ago to really start working this. Because I was here at the time. We didn't hear about an unsolved. I didn't hear about a murder period aboard Lejeune, but there's a woman found. She was likely a hooker. We came to that conclusion.
Likely
a civilian.
Yeah.
So we don't know because the information was sadly lacking. But then they wanted somebody to work on it and solve it.
Do you two recall the Berkeley Manor?
Yes.
Situation?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, that still sticks in my mind. And it seems that just disappeared.
Right.
I'm honestly swept
That
up.
was crazy.
You hide you hide stuff as often as you can. Nobody talking about it, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of creeps you out too, especially going out in that area. I know it was not long after that they started building Watkins Village.
Right. Yeah.
And we had the contract to go out there and do security on it, stay out there at nighttime. And it is right next to Berkeley Manor. And you're just like, it was creepy. Creepy.
You got a contract to provide security aboard the base?
Yep.
Really?
There was, and we did the same thing for Marine Federal Credit Union. When their alarms went off, we would go out to the base, and sit inside the bank. Yeah.
When the alarms would go off.
When the alarms would go out and they weren't working. I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
Jeez.
And we'd go sit inside the
Did you collect
bank.
any money while you were there? Or?
And it was crazy because I don't know if it's still in the same location, but the bank itself, we would sit inside the bank. And, because like I said, they had no security system at that time. Because
they
they were
got
broke.
50,000 Marines with guns.
But over top, there was Marine barracks, and you would hear people running in the middle of the night, to pat, 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 pat. And then the old water pipes going. It was spooky working there. It was really weird. Remember, I got into it with a major. He called me a pistol packing Annie Oakley or whatever because we had guns. And he said we weren't allowed to have guns on the base. But
Should have said refer to me as
we did.
Angie Dickinson. You should have so that. But before I
Lady
know,
Blue. That's how I got Lady Blue.
really?
Yes,
Angie?
because there was a TV show that came on, and it was about a female detective, and her nickname was Lady Blue. It only lasted one season, and that's the guys that worked for me. They said, "Oh my gosh, that is you," and that's how I got the nickname Lady Blue. And I've had it for
off mic when we shut them down. She'll tell you the rest of the things that they called her.
When I was a licensed private investigator. Yeah, I had a nickname there too, but we'll have to definitely do that off the air. I'm sorry, folks, but it would be
Language,
inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'd have to turn your mic off too.
Yes, you'd have to. You have to ban me for the rest of the day.
That's it.
I'm not sure if you're going to give a boaters some information for this weekend, but before or after we do, I'd like to talk about Chicago. And they're investigating the Department of Justice is investigating Chicago's mayor.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Again.
I think
They always investigating.
DEI.
I'm glad. I'm
Really?
glad you're going to
Yes.
talk about it. I saw the
really?
headlines and
Yes.
never read
Oh,
the story.
my.
Yes.
So good. I want to
Well,
hear
let's get
about
weather
that.
out of the way then, folks. And then we'll
Let's
talk
do
about
it.
that one because I haven't heard about that one apparently. Chicago Channel it kind of goes not in one ear and out the other. It just jumps over the head and goes around.
Exactly. That's why I saw the headlines and I never read the story. I was like, scroll on.
More
Scroll on.
Chicago. What else is new, right?
Right.
Well, we got this long weekend that we are. Some of us are. Some of y'all are already in it. We will be in about 46 minutes. 9 o'clock, as far as I'm concerned, the weekend begins. And I just got to go figure out what we're going to eat. That's going to be my chore for all weekend. Lots.
Hot
That's what
dogs
we
on the
like.
grill.
By the way, what I do have in there, I bought a pineapple the other day.
Oh, I love
Oh.
I bought a
pineapple.
tall pineapple, and I've been waiting for it. I've been putting it up. You buy the pineapple. If you can't smell pineapple on it when you pick it up, put it up there in your kitchen. Don't put it up in a cold place. Don't put it outside.
Right.
Just put it up and let it ripen. When it turns all yellow through out there, and you
So
start smelling
juicy.
pineapple, and you pick it up, oh, it's ripe.
Oh, it's good.
Then you can put it in the refrigerator to store it until you're ready to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Hint, hint. It's ready. I put it in the fridge last night.
Uh-oh.
How we eat that is after I do my thing to it, it goes on to. Have you ever grilled pineapple?
Yes. Yes.
It
So
brings out
good.
so much sugar.
Yes.
It will make pure cane sugar taste like salt.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff will absolutely get your brain. You can fly through the air with the
Pineapple's
greatest of
good for
ease
you.
when you eat
Yeah.
that much sugar.
Right. It's good for
You
you
wait and see.
too.
It's good for you. Oh, till you hit a tree while you're flying. Anyway, the weekend marine forecast looking pretty good through Sunday, at least out to 20 nautical miles offshore. Westerly winds today, 10 to 15 knot, seas only 2 to 4 feet every 5 seconds. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop tomorrow. Still looking good, 10 to 15 knot winds out of the north. They'll switch around to the west, and that will make the fishing best. Around 5 knots in the afternoon tomorrow. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, and they're going to flatten out in the afternoon. Oh, Twiggy time. Sunday, northwesterly winds around 5 knots, becoming easterly around 5 knots in the afternoon. Seas around 2 feet. Sounds and rivers flat. Surfers, you can ride the ripples all you want, or just wax your surfboards and look for the chicks, right? A chance of showers in the afternoon on Sunday. Monday, northerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming northeasterly 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop, increasing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. Showers likely mainly in the morning. Monday evening and part of the week, more unsettled weather next week.
Okay.
It's possible as a bunch of different waves of low pressure are going to be moving in our general direction. So beginning Monday, you might want to take a serious look at the marine forecast, even Monday, because things can speed up and slow down. It looks good in the morning
Absolutely.
right now, but check it Sunday before you go out Monday. And
That's right.
check the weather every day, the day before you go out the next day.
And those weather systems have a
They
habit
change.
of doing their own thing
They
too.
do.
Today, sunny with a high near 80. Winds 5 to 14 miles per hour with gusts as high as 24. Tonight, mostly clear with a nice cool low around 54. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 79. Sunday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms starting in the late afternoon, early evening. Mostly sunny with a high near 82. Memorial Day, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 78.
Did you perform on stage?
I have performed on stage before.
Okay, you did. You did acting type roles and stuff.
Yes.
You had speaking roles?
Yes. I even had a singing role one time.
You know how I can tell?
Right.
It's because as you're reading something,
Yes.
broadcasters try to keep the same level all the time.
Right.
But actors and people on stage, singers, you hear the highs. They get up a little louder at certain parts, and they get down nice and mellow at certain points. And broadcast it. Everybody talks exactly the same as one monotone all the way through. Well, it's not a monotone, but it's anyway as one level all the way through.
That's boring. It's
I was
boring.
complimenting you.
Oh, thank you
As
very
an
much.
actor or
Yeah.
actress, and people who sing on stage and do things in the public, that's the way they do things. That's
Yeah.
the difference in that and broadcast.
Okay.
Who do
So
we
I
have? Who do we
was
have?
doing something right.
Yes, you
did
were.
well. You did it very well.
Now tell me
Thank
who's
you.
calling.
It's Charlie.
Oh,
So-
well,
You
Charlie,
know what?
sorry. Charlie.
I wanted to hear, Chris, tell us about what's going on in Chicago now.
Okay, so the mayor, because the Department of Justice is looking into their hiring practices,
Right.
he spoke about at an apostolic church,
Okay.
and he was saying that President Trump and the government is threatened by the hiring procedures in Chicago, because this mayor said the reason he's hired a majority of he said black people, African American, doesn't matter. And his administration because they're the most generous people on earth. And I'm not going to say they're not. Okay, I'm not there to judge that. But most of his administration, his top officials, are all African American, and he said in a way it's his way of defying or defeating the DEI.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he was point blank and saying, "Yeah, I hired these people because of their race."
Wow.
And I think as a society, let's treat each other equally. You shouldn't be hired on your. I mean,
Should not.
you can't be you're not hired, you're not fired because of sex, race, et cetera, et cetera,
It's not
et cetera.
supposed to be a reason. That's right.
But he hired him because of that.
He did a workaround.
Yeah.
He did a workaround.
Isn't that what they call hiring quota?
There used to be the unsaid
kind of stuff.
rules.
Yes.
Yeah. There used to be an unsaid rule of that.
I'm all for equal opportunity. That's what I'm for. I don't believe in we've got to reach a quota. That's not fair to the person you're hiring. And it's not fair to the person that you don't hire because you felt like you had to reach a quota. I mean, hire based on the ability that they have to do the job and be fair about it. But there's always going to be those unfair practices somewhere.
Well, he was asked if hiring them on the top level position, does that make the effect the same on the lower level positions? It's just
That's a shame. That's a shame. So they're being investigated now by the DOJ?
yes.
Well, there you go.
Because of their hiring practices.
Right. Well, I can understand that. And then I hope they're able to work it out and, learn from it. But if I knew the DOJ was coming, I would probably go on a long vacation.
He's welcoming them.
Yeah.
His defense is because they're more generous.
Okay. We'll see.
Got some more Marine Corps news.
Oh.
Semper Fi.
The Marine Corps is partnering with ICE. Federal immigration authorities. Under a pilot program, the Marine Corps says is aimed at preventing foreign nationals from unlawfully accessing multiple installations across the United States. Marine Corps Base, Camp Lejeune, that's out in California for those who don't know, announced today that it is integrating immigration and customs enforcement and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents into its installation security. The Marine Corps said that ICE agents will also be part of installation security at Marine Corps Base Quantico, Marine Corps Base Hawaii. I'm really surprised that the largest marine amphibious base in the world is not part of that pilot program. Quantico, I understand. Hawaii, probably. Petaluma, the largest marine base. Why not add another one? And the most logical would be Camp Lejeune, I would think. I would expect that if this proves to be very successful, then that will be the next one, but I don't know yet.
Well, I don't know if you knew or not, but the USPS, the United States Postal Service, is also partnering with ICE.
Oh, goody.
They are,
What are they doing?
any information that they get, and they have a way of knowing by your mail that comes to your house or, forms that they have you fill out of if there's possibility of any undocumented migrants, or if the DOJ or law enforcement, ICE is looking for a particular person.
They'll help them out.
That's what
Bring
they're doing.
it on.
Wow.
Bring it
That's
on.
what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Well, that's part of the federal government.
Yes, they are. Here's an interesting one. We're talking about weather.
Uh-huh.
And, this past week, the weather's been really crazy in our western and central states of the United States with tornadoes as such. We had a deadly one come through. Was it Minnesota somewhere? Anyway, the city of St. Louis placed its emergency management chief on leave right after the staffer failed to activate the tornado sirens before a deadly twister tore through the Midwestern metropolis. According to reports, 5 people were killed and dozens injured, and thousands more were impacted by the tornado last Friday. Going into early this week, and the critics said that it dramatically was made worse by the failure of the city's emergency manager to sound the alarm after receiving a National Weather Service alert.
I wonder why that is not automatic.
And this was in Missouri.
I mean, let's just put it this way.
Right.
In the broadcast world, we were required to have television and radio, required to have a receiver that received National Weather Service emergency alerts or national other emergency alerts. They could activate this system called
Well, here's your problem.
EBS, Emergency Broadcast Service.
Here's your problem right here, Sarah
And then
Russell.
when they air immediately, you didn't have any choice. No.
Here's what happened. Sarah Russell, the commissioner of the Missouri City Emergency Management Agency for St. Louis, was not at the relevant CEMA office station just before the 2:30 p.m. local time when the warning was issued, but instead was at an off-site workshop.
Well, why is it not automatic?
I agree with you.
I mean, when the National Weather Service here issues a severe thunderstorm warning for Onslow County, of course, my radios, there's one here, there's one up yonder, they will go off. And they let me know. And within seconds, a minute at the most, I will hear my telephone, my wife's telephone, the neighbors' telephones, everybody's telephones will go off.
Says
But
Russell
they
was
are
forced-
automatically set off by a trigger device from the National Weather Service.
said she was forced to call the St. Louis Fire Department, which is the only other location from which the tornado sirens can be turned on. But the St. Louis Fire Department officials said Russell gave ambiguous orders and therefore did not sound the 60 outdoor tornado sirens placed around the city. Here's a picture of her. Explains a lot.
You said her?
Yeah, I mean, she just doesn't look smart to me. But anyway, yeah, that was terrible.
Okay.
What?
I'm sure she's available.
No,
Exactly.
I'm just saying she doesn't look.
I'm sure she's
smirky
available.
in that picture.
I'm sure she's available.
For any of you
Yeah.
guys looking for her, there you go.
Go check it out.
Is that really her? No, seriously.
No,
yeah.
that's her.
Okay.
That's her. They got her name right underneath the picture.
It says underneath that it says AI.
No,
It's got to be. It can't be real.
bless her heart. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, they failed to
Speaking
sound
of
the
the
alarms. But I'm going to tell you, like Chris will attest to this because I was texting him. I was actually watching the tornado chasers during this time.
Go figure.
And there was one earlier in the week that I follow him religiously. He's got a PhD in meteorology, and he's well thought of in the weather world. And
If he's running towards a tornado, he's not real
actually,
smart.
him and his guys were in what they call the Dominator. It's an F-350 that looks like a tank. They have the way they have it built, and they got up close enough to this
Have you
one
ever seen
tornado.
Twister?
Some of his documented tornadoes are in that movie Twister. They used his documentation.
You ever
in that movie.
been to a right aftermath of a serious tornado?
Oh, I've
That
seen.
one in 1984, the whole series, I think it's
Mhm.
84, 85, maybe 84. The Robeson County area, the line, the I-95 corridor, they called it.
Right.
Tornado Alley, we called it. But I had to go over the day after. And I'll never forget pieces of shredded 2x4 that were
Yes,
impaled
yes.
through trees.
Yes.
You know how fast that sucker's got to be flying to do that?
Well, they got up close enough to
Ooh.
where they saw it was heading a certain direction. I mean, they don't actually drive into it on purpose. But and tornadoes usually travel a certain way when
Yeah,
they
like
start.
this, and this, and this.
Well, anyway, they got up close enough to shoot off a rocket into it, which has got all these sensors they get a lot of data from. And about that
Did they have
time,
ATF permits to do that?
at that time, tornadoes, they have like little fingers that come down too. They're called vortices or something like that. Anyway, this one finger of it kind of shifted at the last second. They didn't even have time to roll up their windows. It hit them, spun their vehicle 360 degrees. And see, you're witnessing all of this. And I was just like, when you try to scream and nothing will come out, I was like, and the guys are screaming and yelling. And finally, when it was over with, which only takes a matter of seconds, there was corn stalks in their vehicle. They had corn in their hair. It was just craziness. And I was texting Chris because we were discussing something pertinent. And I said, no, I'm watching the Storm Chasers and they just went through a tornado. I really had to get up and change my clothes afterwards. It was so crazy.
Why?
Scared me. I was scared for them.
You had to change your clothes because you got scared?
I had to because
everybody's imagination is going absolutely crazy right now. And
I had corn stalks. I had corn in my hair. Okay. No, but I might have just like a little moisture. You know what I'm trying.
You were sweating.
Let's
call it nice.
That's it. I was sweating up a storm and had to put the shower. But oh my gosh.
Barely out of that one.
If y'all ever, and see, I was watching them during all this Missouri stuff too. But if you ever want to get your thrill on, you should watch them. No. It's crazy what they do.
Weather I can't control. People I can control. Wild animals under certain conditions I can control. The ocean I can maneuver around it, and in most cases I've gotten to the point that I'm able to do that. I'll always go prepared. Tornadoes? No.
Well, did you ever see the pictures that came out of Missouri last week when this thing hit?
I've seen stuff, yes.
Neighborhoods were shredded. It looked, their 2x4s looked like toothpicks.
You can't do it. Not going to do it.
I was
do it.
They were talking about the ones in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then the next night they were expecting more, and you're talking about projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They were saying that all this debris now on the ground will become projectiles.
Yeah. Right.
Small missiles, y'all.
Yeah.
It was
no.
It was craziness.
Memorial Day weekend also brings something else out that you may want to talk about.
Sure.
Fireworks. People will start fireworks.
It's the beginning of the season, the fireworks season. I know because I see them in stores. As we get closer to the 4th of July, when it's the big people, but they will start now. Mm-hmm. Folks, there are fireworks that are not legal, and that's going to be most of them. So when you go, consider that what you're looking at is likely illegal, and then go make sure that it is legal. Don't just take the word of the vendor. You should not go to one of those stores that sells those little products that get you, they say are legal, and you go and you chew it as a gummy or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfectly legal. The manufacturer said it is. Yeah, but the cops say it's not. They've run tests on it, and it's got THC in it. Well, that's all right, but the manufacturer said it was okay. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
It's what whoever decides to run a test on it says, y'all. And first of all, this is not a steadfast, but if it goes up into the air,
what's going on?
And it goes boom, it's illegal.
Yeah.
If it's a sparkler that you can hold in your hand, it's legal. Just don't put those things on the ground when they go out, okay? Because those are hot for a period of time. They will burn through sandals and bare feet. You will light your life up for a while. Be very careful with fireworks of any kind. If you want to go see fireworks, go watch TV or go to a display that's organized by professionals, sanctioned by the governing bodies in an area.
Right.
They're cheaper because they don't cost you anything, and they're done by professionals, and they're done with a theme.
Mhm.
That's the other thing, not just a bunch of stuff going up in the air and
Yeah,
going
it
back.
is pretty rough when the favorite dad in the neighborhood decides to buy a bunch of fireworks and get out there and start shooting them off. And right now, like I said, we're in a drought. We've
Yep.
been in one since October of 2024.
We're going to get to that
And
too.
most of Onslow County is very much in the
Mhm.
severe drought. We do not need people out shooting off fireworks
Now,
and
here-
not being
and
cautious.
so let's just say you live in a neighborhood, you don't live near the woods where it's going to catch the
I have
woods on
woods
fire.
behind me, yes.
But just say you don't.
right.
Let's say you live in a concrete jungle.
Okay.
On that roof that you have, unless it's made of
Yeah,
metal,
that's
it's called
right.
asphalt shingles.
Mhm.
Asphalt shingles are petroleum based.
Yep.
Petroleum is not petroleum jelly, it's gasoline.
Mhm. You're right.
Mm.
Absolutely
Gasoline's a
right.
refined form, but that's basically what it is. And if you don't believe it, pick up an old piece of shingle sometime and just light it.
Yeah.
And imagine a whole top
Start
of
to
your house
grill.
like that.
So
You can start your grill with a piece.
you both live in the city.
Yep.
Yes.
I know they're legal in the county to a degree.
Yes.
You can set them off.
Anything
But
that
what
doesn't
about the
fly
city?
or
Can you-
explode.
so you can use fireworks
I
in the
don't-
city.
You
Or-
could like sparklers.
Sparklers. I
Sparklers.
don't think you better not be shooting stuff up in the air because
Oh,
somebody's
no.
going to come knock on your door.
Yeah.
Now, whether they arrest you or not likely unless you're a repeater or unless they tell you don't and they come back
Right.
and you are,
Right.
then you're gonna come. Hey, come along with me. It's kind of like a loud party. If I have to come back, somebody's going with me, and probably all of y'all. That's the way we used to do it.
I don't have
So-
a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If just don't set them off like that. Do it nice and legal. Like if you've got
Right.
those that just you want to stand around with sparklers, that's fine.
Mhm.
Loud noises are bad for critters.
Mhm.
PTSD victims.
We live in an area where there are a whole lot of Marines, veterans of combat. They come back here, they do not need to hear explosions going off in the
No.
middle of the night, sound like bombs or grenades or gunfire. They don't need that.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with them. Just be responsible and I'll respect that.
Yeah, just go somewhere where there ain't nobody living and where nobody knows your name.
Oh, good one. And be careful of sparklers because they could hurt. The what they put out could actually burn children's.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's just
Oh,
like anything else.
Yeah.
Like that.
Uh,
That is.
one of the
Lord.
one of the other things I wanted to touch on is with this 4 or 5 day weekend, depending
Yes.
where you work and stuff, drinking and driving.
Oh yeah. Now
Please.
that I'm glad you said that,
Thank
Chris,
you.
because right now the Highway Patrol, along with their area local law enforcement, are partnering together through June 1st with the Click It Ticket.
That's wonderful.
Hold
Yes.
on for just a second. Yes, can I help you? Hello.
I can hold.
Yes, go ahead. Hello.
Okay, but with Medicare Open Enrollment 2025 around the corner, we've got some fantastic new plans and benefits you won't want to miss. Quick question, do you have both Part A and B of Medicare?
I got E and F. I did not have A and B.
You are eligible for the new benefits. Let me connect you with the agent. Please stay on the call.
Goody. Good.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I just got this call today.
Good morning. Where are you?
I'm in North Carolina, sir.
What part of North Carolina?
North Carolina City.
North Carolina City?
10,500.
North Carolina City. Which city in North Carolina are you in?
Wow. I in North Carolina City because I know no cities in North Carolina because I'm really from
Oh
You
gosh.
somewhere
understand.
else.
I get this every day.
Yes.
Multiple
All of
calls.
us do.
Most of them I just hang up and
right.
really quickly. But, every now and then I got to jerk somebody's chain. And if it's on the air, I get to jerk their chain. People, when you get those calls, just do something ridiculous. And there's no law against being as profane and as obnoxious as you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
do
very
that most
true.
of the time.
What are they going to do? Turn you in?
I was
Seriously?
calling and trying to scam that guy, and he just got rude to me.
Yeah, he got rude and he said those ugly cursy words.
He hurt my feelings.
Oh my gosh.
When they call with that and they go, "Are you 65?" No, I'm not.
Nope.
Sorry.
They said, "May I ask how old you are?" And I said, 412. What?
Wow.
You do not apply. You do not. You're not acceptable or whatever.
But going back, not only the drinking and driving
Yes.
on the highways, but on the waterways.
Oh,
Extremely
definitely.
important, y'all. Extremely
Yes.
important. Most of the fatal wrecks on boats, people falling overboard, people getting run over, most of them involve alcoholic beverages either by the person who falls over.
Right.
So even if you're a passenger on the boat, it's legal to drink on the boat. Okay.
Right.
If you're driving the boat, it's not under most conditions.
And
He senses something. I got to get my shoe back on.
It's you can't do it. It's dangerous. Almost all fatalities involve that.
Well, going back to the click-it ticket, which means that there's going to be roadblocks set
And
up
there's
from
gonna
here
be
to there,
wildlife.
everywhere. And that is Jennifer calling.
Jennifer.
hey, Jennifer. Hold on, Jennifer.
Okie dokie. Hey, Jennifer, how's Tennessee?
Hey, Jennifer.
Good morning. Tennessee's good. I heard your little call right then about Medicaid and the North Carolina city, and so I had to. I, of course, make wreaths, and
Yep.
I put them on Facebook. Well, apparently, I don't know how they do it or why they do it, but there's people out there that try and scam you. They want to send you. They want to go ahead. Let me pay you right now, and then they cancel something. I don't know. I've never fallen for it, but thank the good Lord. But anyway, I had one the other day, and they're always somebody that has like 20, because I'll check their profile. They'll have like 20 friends. They're all foreign names,
Yep.
but yet their profile picture and their name is not. And I always, my thing to them is, how did you find me? I like to know which social media is working best. That's how I put it. And this one said, one of them was, I typed in reefs near me.
Oh.
And I said, okay. But yet she was in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's nowhere near. But the one that the other day, somebody, they said, and if you're close enough, I can just have my brother pick it up. There's always a brother. And I said, well, I'm in Tennessee.
Huh? Where?
Where are you? And I said, I'm in East Tennessee. Where are you? She texted, so help me Jesus. She messaged me back and she said, me too. And I thought, And I said, where are you? And she said, Weber City. And I thought, sweet Jesus, lady, Weber City's in Virginia. Now, it's right across the border into Virginia, about 4 miles from where I live.
No.
But I didn't tell her where I lived. I just told her East Tennessee. That could have been anywhere from here to Knoxville to wherever. But she put in, she messaged me back and said Weber City, and I thought, well, good grief, lady. And of course I said, well, I'm sorry, it's not available anymore. But so when you said that, the North Carolina city, I had to call and tell you mine. So anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
You too. Y'all be safe up there. Tell Terry we said hey.
Yes, definitely.
I sure will.
And when you guys want to, get out of the hills for a while, so you get both legs to end up being the same length again,
Yes.
instead of standing on the side of a mountain.
Terry has not technically stood on the side of one of these
I
hills.
know. Not yet. Not yet. He will. He will.
He's all, flat, but
I bet one of his wheels is bigger than the other. What do you think?
ever decide to get out of the flatlands and out of the, when it's just so muggy and hot and humid, you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I know. We could come up there where the tornadoes hang out, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had a tornado. They had some bad ones in Kentucky. But
Yes, they do.
we have not.
Hey, Jennifer, it was.
We have not.
I'm sorry, Jennifer. It was 53 in Richlands this morning. What's the weather like there?
It's supposed to be in the 40s tonight. Right now, well, they said the high today is going to be 63.
Oh.
Well,
Because I'm going to be at the Kiwanis Festival tomorrow, and they said and that's in Virginia. That's in Abingdon. It's about 45 minutes from us.
get your
And so
passport.
it'll be
Back.
a little bit cooler. And they, I checked the weather, and it's supposed to be a low of like 45 and high of, I think like 61, 62, something like that
Oh, goodness.
tomorrow up there.
Well, we're up to 65 here right now.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and the weather did
No,
say
we're
there
not.
was a possibility that some places in North Carolina, especially the western part of the state, would dip down into the 40s this weekend,
Yeah.
overnight.
Mhm.
Well, western part of North
Well,
Carolina is
it
real
is.
close to the eastern part of South
That's right.
Tennessee.
It gets hot here, but it's just we don't have that humidity. That
Yeah.
is a different heat. So,
Uh-huh.
but anyways, we're going to go try and pedal some wreaths tomorrow. We're going to go set up tonight
Very nice.
for the 43rd annual Kiwanis Club Plum Alley Day
Ooh.
Festival.
The
160 plus vendors.
the Kiwanis, the 43rd
Okay.
annual Kiwanis, what kind of festival?
It's called the Plum Alley Day Festival in Abingdon, Virginia. Which Abingdon is a beautiful old historic town,
Mm-hmm.
but there is it's actually named, it's called Plum Alley, and it's a paved alley that runs in the middle of Main Street and another street, and it runs for several, 4 or 5 blocks, 6 blocks, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's named Plum Alley. I don't know why.
You're gonna
But
be-
they block all of the town, that part off, and that's where these 160 plus vendors are going to set up. And it is the Kiwanis Club of Abingdon has it,
Mhm.
and it's their donations. They get donations, and everything stays in the Washington County, Virginia area,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. I think they said the 43rd. You can type it in. Kiwanis Club of Abingdon with a D. Plum, P-O-U-M-B,
Wow.
Alley Day.
Okay.
Well, I hope you have a plum good
Yeah.
time.
And
I
have some
do too.
plum,
I hope I sell every plum one of them.
and get some plum jam to go with them.
Yes.
Well, now that would be good.
Plum jam is good
We're
stuff.
looking for a big time. Everybody says it's a real big festival. So.
Well,
I had other vendors at other shows I've been to
okay.
ask me, "Have you ever been to Plum Alley?" No.
Not yet.
That's where you need to go. So
Plum near it.
I submitted my application and got accepted, and that's where I'm going.
Jennifer, because of Wreaths Across America, you said wreaths as
Yeah, she said
She makes them,
wreaths.
wreaths.
She said they Googled wreaths near me. I've already Googled wreaths near me, and believe it or not, wreaths near me punched up. JCPenney's, Kohl's, whatever Pop Shelf is, Belk, Walmart, Kohl's.
I bet it didn't say Mama Jen's hand. Mama Jen's
I'm looking.
custom
Got
wreath,
the,
did it?
got the flyer shop. Got April showers. Flowers on the move, and I'm looking for.
Oh, now you're
Okay.
when you said Reese near me. I thought it was the name of a business. I get it now. Never mind.
Well, when I heard wreaths,
I
you know what I'm going to think of.
Yeah, sure.
She made that one up there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a beautiful wreath. Yes. That's beautiful,
Thank
Rita.
you.
You're
The
welcome.
Christmas wreath I have is beautiful that she made for me too.
Yeah.
Well, there are a
That's
bunch
beautiful.
of real honest to goodness ones that are close to us here. But you know what? None of them are in Virginia or Tennessee.
See, but now I do. You can ask Lee. I do ship.
Yes, she does.
So if you're ever
Yes, she does.
requesting something, I make custom work and I do ship.
Cool. Good.
Right.
But I'm going to try and peddle these wreaths, and I got some cemetery bases, and that's. I know that you have that going on down there with flags and all that, but now I'm up here in the hills, and these old people still call it Decoration Day up here.
Yep.
And
It is Decoration Day.
yeah, they do, and it's a big thing. We went up to where my mom and dad are for me to put a flag on my dad's day before yesterday.
Cool. Good for you.
There were 3 cars on the little, the paved drive to
Right.
the cemetery,
Right.
big cemetery. But in the section where my mom and dad are, there were 3 different cars there of people putting out flowers. It's a big thing up here. I mean, big. I mean, everybody putting flowers. So I'm hoping I'll sell the ones I've got.
Oh, you will.
Maybe.
Go for it.
Yeah. Good luck.
Have a good time and be
Have
careful.
fun.
Yeah.
Don't drive over the mountains.
Terry said to make sure and tell Chris that we bought the wreath we bought the 3 last year
Yes, ma'am.
for the wreath across America, and we plan on buying more this year.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Jennifer's
Bless your
going
heart.
to be
Thank
plumb
you.
exhausted come Saturday night.
I hope I am. I
No,
hope
Terry
we're gonna
is.
be there.
Yeah.
We got to be set up by 7. We're gonna have the car moved by 7.
Sure.
Got to be completely set up, ready to go by 7:30. It's 45 minutes from here.
Ooh.
So
Why don't you
gonna
go ahead and leave now? You'll be better off.
Well, I can set up tonight at after 5.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to go this afternoon, get the tent and the grid walls and all that stuff set up,
Right.
and then we'll go in the morning and
Oh, sounds good.
finish the rest up
Take your
and be
merch.
ready for business.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have fun. Don't drive over the mountains or off the hills or
Oh,
anything like that.
no, it'd be
Jennifer, have
straight
fun.
Those
in,
cliffs. Okay.
right out
Much-
here on 26 and 81.
All right. Y'all be
Much
careful. Be
success.
safe.
Y'all have
to
a
you.
good
Have a
day.
good,
Much
have a good
success.
weekend.
I just got thinking, Chris, doesn't the Veteran Cemetery have the Boy Scouts put flags out on all the graves for Memorial Day? Do you remember?
Rolling Thunder was supposed to, and then I saw a military Marine.
Right.
There's a
Yeah,
word
they're
for
usually
band,
military. Yeah.
band, beautiful American Marines,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but there are supposed to be some laid out.
Okay.
Yes, they're doing it there, and then at Onslow Memorial Park.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. I just got thinking about that because I was thinking I need to take a flag to my dad, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think they're already put. I'll
They
drive
are.
by there anyway and
Yeah.
look. But
Yeah.
Okay. So sounds good. It's going to be a good time. Y'all, let's get back to it just a little bit now.
Right.
Please be very careful. We talked to you about fireworks. There's also the
Yes.
charcoal grills. There are
Oh,
also, when you go to the
yes.
beaches and you do your stuff, you want to build a fire. You've got okay. You're not going to build a fire on the beach, but some people might, but don't.
Mhm.
And you're gonna take your charcoal grills. You're gonna burn a little bit of charcoal, and then what are you gonna do with charcoal? 2 things. If you can, and you got a metal bucket that's sealed, and take it home with you,
Mhm.
Mhm.
burn the charcoal. If you have to dispose of it, you dig as deep a hole as you can in the sand, and then go down to the water's edge and pick you up a bucket or 2 of water and pour it down there. A friend of mine's daughter, she was about 8, 9 years old at the time, at Fort Fisher. Somebody had just lightly covered the burned charcoal,
Happened to my niece.
just throw some sand over the top of it a little bit. She walked over there with her bare feet, and she
Oh,
had
my
spent
goodness.
some hours in the ER.
My niece, same thing in the backyard, and I'm not sure that I don't think it was charcoal, but it was like a woods fire or whatever, and it was lightly covered, and she was out barefoot, and she spent quite a bit of time in the burn center. So
If you do, those are just common sense things. The
Right.
fireworks we've talked about. driving and drinking on the water,
Yes.
don't.
Yes,
Just
please don't.
You know, just first of all, on the water, you got the heat.
Mm-hmm.
A beer, and you're going to be a whole lot drunker with a single beer than
Mm-hmm.
you would sitting in an air-conditioned bar.
I agree.
You are presumed to be guilty of driving while impaired when you blow a .08. You can be arrested and blow a .01.
Mm-hmm.
If your actions indicate that you're impaired, regardless of what the presumed guilt level is, you can be arrested and convicted because they're going to have cameras on you.
Mhm.
And if you're operating in such a manner that it looks like you're drunk, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's going to be charged as a duck. You're going to be arrested and charged with boating
Duck.
while impaired or
Duck.
driving while impaired. A 16, 18-year-old, a 20-year-old who's never had anything to drink, a 21-year-old goes out for the birthday and has 2 beers.
Mhm.
Under normal conditions, I don't know, let's see if I can figure out what the math was again. 150-pound male who's 5 feet 10 inches tall at age 21.
Right.
First time he's going out to have some beers.
Yeah.
He has 2 beers. Normally, what he would blow is going to be, and he has them within 1 hour. He's going to blow somewhere in the neighborhood of a .02 to .04.
Oh.
Not much, but enough to get you arrested for driving while impaired if you're on the road. If you start waving, if you're impaired, if the alcohol is influencing driving while impaired, if it influences the way you operate that vehicle, you are driving while impaired. Got it? The testimony of the arresting officer is going to go a long way. The video is going to really go a long way because you can rest assured you're going to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be on camera in the breathalyzer room, even when you blow a .2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. Under normal conditions, you would be found not guilty. But if you're operating in a manner that shows that you're impaired, you can be found guilty.
You know, something that people don't know, and I've seen this firsthand, so I know it does happen. The North Carolina Wildlife, they can give you a sobriety test on the water. You don't have to worry about walking. They have their own test.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They got a special set of stuff.
Yeah. And then if they get you, they will contact Highway Patrol. Your boat will be taken to that dock, and that Highway Patrol will take you. And
Or the wildlife officer can arrest you for
Yeah.
boating while impaired and take you to jail.
yeah, so
They will charge you.
and
And I don't care whether you blow into the machine or not. You're going to be arrested. And you're going to be charged with it because their testimony again is going to go a long ways. And they also have the right at that point in time to pick up all the evidence, all that 74 beer cans that are empty there.
Yeah.
Or those that you throw overboard and act as a trail as you go along, and they're scooping them up as they go along, following you and pick them up and get you pulled over. All of those are admitted as evidence.
and
You want to go that way?
well, I don't pollute, but there's a group that does a Facebook thing about roadblocks.
Mhm.
You're not really helping people by telling them where law enforcement are doing roadblocks. You're supporting drinking and driving.
Well, let me
in my
explain this
book.
to you too. For you folks who think you could get cool and you can monitor that site and all that sort of good stuff. First of all, if you're drunk and you're driving at nighttime, you're not going to be monitoring it.
No.
And you may get a phone call or whatever. I don't care. I get away. I'm good. I'm good. I am good. Don't worry about it.
Just remember this, that could be your child or your family member or a very close friend that gets hit and killed by a drunk driver.
But if you're driving and when you get up to that roadblock, I'm sorry. Just go ahead and put your hands in front of you.
Just
Go ahead and submit. Be careful and be nice and be polite, because when you get to be rude and obnoxious, all of that's going to be held against you when you get to court.
Exactly.
And don't turn around and think you're going to run away from that roadblock.
Oh, they got somebody waiting for you back there.
Gosh.
So, and don't worry about it. You're going to get caught if you try to, and that's called eluding.
Yeah.
By the way, they add another charge to you.
Yeah.
Well, Rayford, if you get caught now, my understanding, it's not happened to me because I don't do it, but if you get caught, flashing your lights at someone to warn them that there's an LEO down the road.
You might be flashing another cop.
I understand that you might see those flashing lights real soon, but
Mhm.
is there anything? I mean, I don't think it's a law or anything, but I've heard of that happening to people.
It can be used as a reason to stop you for something. Not dimming your lights.
Oh, yeah,
For
that's-
instance, you're driving along in the middle of the night and approaching
Could be an
motorists.
indication.
Approaching motorists, as they did with Detective Everhart at Curie Beach in 1997. Guy didn't dim his lights, so Andy flashed his lights a couple times just to warn it, because people sometimes they don't know, they're driving, there's no traffic at 2:00 in the morning, and he still didn't dim them. The reason he didn't dim them is not because he was drunk, but that is a sign of one of the
Right.
signs of
Sure.
an impaired driver.
Sure.
He doesn't respond to your warning.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned around on him, and the guy took off running, speeding.
All right.
Down at Carolina and Curie Beach is not a lot of distance between the two towns, and you can't get up a lot of speed. But so, and I was north, so they were coming my way. I was in a mark unit, Andy was not. I jumped out right behind Andy, then I pulled around so we could, we could deal with them with a mark unit and better lights on the mark unit than you got on the others, and got to 60 miles an hour when it was our own rule. Andy, what you got him for? He didn't dim his lights. Anything else? No. Is he any signs of impairment? No. Nothing. He's just speeding to get away from us because he didn't dim his lights. Okay. We called it. Our lights go off. We just continue moving, but not at 60 miles an hour, hoping the guy would slow down, because he was coming to Carolina Beach where we had already called ahead and they had a roadblock set up. Duh. What do you think's going to happen when you get in an area like that? And anyway, he kept on going. When I got up there, Andy went down one of the side streets through the neighborhood, and then I got up to the roadblock. They hadn't gotten up that far. I turned around on my way back, and his car was resting up against a house. Had crossed over, had broken a fire hydrant off, and was upside down.
Oh.
Wow.
And
Well.
and his next of kin had to be notified.
Oh, no.
He was 15 years old, had stolen his mama's car because he got mad at her.
Think.
And that was a holiday weekend too.
Oh.
Please, people, please behave. If you got juveniles, secure your guns. Also secure your blasted car keys.
Yeah.
Hello? That's the deadliest weapon ever been invented by mankind, is the automobile.
Enjoy your Memorial Day
Absolutely,
weekend.
yeah.
Yes, please
Safely.
be safe.
We want to see
Think
you
about
all.
it. We don't want to read about you.
back
We
here
want to talk
Monday.
to you on Monday.
That's
Yeah.
right. We want
And by the way, we're here Monday.
That's
so
right.
Join us.
Have fun Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yes.
Monday.
I'm going home to mow
responsible
the
for-
yard site so I can watch all the neighbors do theirs this weekend.
You're going to
That's-
mow yours today?
That's part of being retired. Yes.
Well, it's 66 degrees now. You've
That's
got
perfect.
it perfect weather.
Absolutely.
Don't burst yourself.
And I
Don't-
want you
don't
to
cut your
know that
fingers
my
off with the
little-
blades.
My little mole warning units are working pretty good. You know, that you put them in the ground and they send out all these waves and frequencies and noise. They seem to be working.
Really?
Fingers crossed.
I asked you to let me know because I'm using the worm still.
As
and they're
long
not
as I
working.
don't run over them with a lawnmower, we'll be good. I'll try not to. I'll take them up. But yeah, they flash at night too. They
Okay.
light up at night and then they flash. It's
Does
really
that
really
blind
cool.
the moles? Because they don't see very well, you know. They little beady eyes.
Actually, mine are more voles than they are moles.
They're what?
Voles with a V.
Voles. With-
That's what they look like. They're
What's a vole?
it's like a mole, but
But why isn't it a mole?
because their nose, their shape is a little different. A mole is more like this, you know, in big fat face, and a vole
That
That's
just
just-
reminds me of a woman.
looks,
actually.
looks like a mouse, but has kind of a snout
Yeah.
to it. So that's, yeah.
We'll see you Monday morning. Y'all be safe
I'm
this
learning.
weekend.
Have a great
please.
weekend.
We tell you some of the stories not to scare the crap out of you, but to encourage you to be scared. Be careful. That's going to be the biggest thing. We'll see you Monday morning, y'all.
We will.
Good weekend.
You're
Happy-
live and local.
Happy
Real
weekend.
talk where we're sometimes awake, but never woke. Bye.
Take care.